What's going on, y'all? Today I'm going to show you guys how to get started on contributing to the website project. So the first thing that we're going to have to install is Node.js. So we're going to go to their website. And so for our project, we need to install version 16. If we install anything earlier or later, for some reason, whenever you start your project, it will not work. So you need version 16. So to do that, we're going to click on Other Downloads, and then you're going to scroll down. You see previous releases. You want to click on that, and then you see all the previous versions here, right? And you see the row where it says Node.js version 16. So now you want to go to the releases, and so you see all these options. The one we're looking for, if you're a Windows user, is the 64-bit MSI. And so you just wait for that to install or download. And so we've downloaded. Let's go and open that. And then you just click next, accept, install. Just give me a second. Okay, so now that we've installed Node.js, we can double check to see that if we have installed that by going to the search bar and typing in cmd. And so that will open up the command prompt. Now all we have to do here is type node space dash version. Okay, and then you can see we have version 16.20.0, which is exactly what we want. The second thing we're going to have to install is called git, which also comes with git bash. So basically, this is kind of like the command prompt, except now we have access to git commands. So let me just go ahead and type download git, and then this will be the first thing that comes up. So we click this, and then for Windows users, you want to click this, and then we want to click on the 64-bit, and then we wait for that to install or download. Okay, so now with that, we have installed git. The last thing, if you can X out of this, if a pop-up comes up, you can just X out of it, no problem. And so the last thing we're gonna need is called VS Code. So we just type VS Code, if I can type, download. And so it should be the first link. And so we'll get three options here. And so we want to download the Windows version, right, since we're on Windows. Okay, so let's go and click on that. And then it'll send you to the documentation, but don't worry about that. Okay, so now we have Visual Studio Code installed, and it opened up. And so this is just a project I was working on beforehand. So make out of that. And so we have installed everything we need to get started. So now with all of our tools installed, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to import the website project onto our computer. So in order to do that, we're going to first create a projects folder to keep ourselves organized. So let me go ahead and open the File Explorer, go to Desktop. I'm going to create a new folder. I'll just call it Tutorials Projects. And we'll just call it Tutorial Projects. That probably sounds better. And so let's go inside. And then I'm going to right click and click on Git Bash here. Okay. And so now we get this nice little command prompt looking GUI. And so now we're going to type git clone. And so now after the clone, we're going to include a link to the GitHub project. And so what git clone does is it'll go to that project, and it will grab all the files within that project and then copy it to our computer. And so we're going to go to that GitHub project, so we can grab the link. And so we're going to click on this green code button. And you're going to click on the copy symbol. And so basically what we're copying here is this link to the GitHub project, right? And so now let's go back. And so now we're going to right click and click on paste. If you Control V, for whatever reason, it doesn't work. So you have to right click and click on paste. So now we click enter. Give it a sec. And with that, we have our project copied onto our computer, right? And so you see you get this new folder here. You go inside, and then you see that you get all these folders and files, just like how you would see it right here. Okay. So now with the project on our computer, we're now going to refer to the Guide for Developers link down here in the README. So let's click on that. And now we finished all of step 1. So now we're going to go to step 2 or step 3. It depends on what side of the website you want to work on. if you want to work on the more fun stuff, right? Of course, we're gonna work on this, and then the same thing applies for if you want to work on the backend. If you want to work on the backend, it's going to be a lot more complicated in terms of the setup, but hopefully it's not too difficult. Okay, so with the front end setup, it's pretty straightforward. We're first going to go into our project. So go desktop, Switch project, right? Wherever your project is located, right? And then you should see these files, right? So you want to right click, and then you want to open Git Bash here. So now we're going to type cd client. Okay, and so now that will go inside of our client folder, right? So now we're in here inside the command line. And so now we're going to type npm install. Okay, so basically what this will do is, because our project requires some outside packages in order for our website to work, so you're just going to type in npm install to install these packages, and then from there you just have to give it a moment for all your packages to install. And with that, our packages have finished installing. So now what we're going to do from here is we can type code dot. What this will do is it will open the VS Code. So let's click enter. Okay. So now we're inside of VS Code, right? And so, but pretty much when it comes to contributing to the project on the front end side, you'll mostly be working in the source folder. Okay. And so now if you want to see what this looks like, what the project looks like, you can type you have to press control grave key, right? So that would be the button next to the number 1 key. Okay. And so that will bring up your terminal. So now what you do from here is you're going to type npm start. Press enter. Okay. You're going to hover over this link, and you're going to see a button that says follow link. You're going to click on that. Wait for your website to load. And just like that, you have access to what the website will look like. And then you can also edit it to your liking. Now, I should also add that if you do edit something, right, inside of your project here, your changes will not reflect onto the actual GitHub project, right? You will have to push those changes, and you will have to push those changes, and I will show you how to do that very soon. Okay, now let me go ahead and show you guys how to set up the backend side of the website. So now let's go ahead and allow me to clone the project real quick. Let me go into my projects folder, and then click on Git Bash here, and then git clone the URL to the project. Okay, and now let me go ahead and rename this to backend. Right, so you can work on both ends simultaneously, but me personally, I recommend that you keep them separate. That's just a personal preference. Okay, so now we exited this, and then now let's refer to the guide for developers as to how to set this up. Okay, so for the backend, we're going to install something called the MongoDB. So that's the database we're going to use for our website. Okay, so we're going to go to that link that we were given. Okay, you should see something like this. You scroll down, right, and currently version 6 is going to be selected, or if you're watching at a later date, it might be something like version 7, version 8, whatever, right? But you want to just go ahead and click this and select version 5 instead. Okay, the reason why we want to do this is because there's sort of steps that you're going to need to make sure that you have Mongo installed. But with like later versions, they change the commands to check that, to sort of check if like your Mongo DB was installed correctly. So we keep it at version 5, right, just for consistency. Okay, so now that we have all this, we can click download. So you're gonna give it a sec. All right, and then we're gonna open this. You just click next, accept, click next. From here, you're going to click on complete. and then click next, and then click next. Install. Okay. So now with MongoDB set up, you can exit out of this. And so now let's go back to the guide for developers and see what it tells us to do next. So now we need to edit our system environment variables. So basically, let's go ahead and go to our search bar down here, and we're gonna type environment variables. And so something like this should pop up where it says edit the system environment variables. We're going to click on this, and we're going to click on environment variables down here, and then we're going to click on path here if you want. Or actually, just make sure it's on user variables, right? Where you click on path. Okay. Now let's go to our file explorer, and then I'm going to go to where I installed MongoDB. For me, it was on my C drive. Then you go to program files, and then you go to MongoDB, and then server 5.0 bin. Okay, and then make sure you end up at bin, right? This is the last file or the last directory you want it to be on. And so we're going to just left click, and then so you should get the whole path to this file highlighted, and so you want to copy that. And so now inside of our path variable, you want to click on new, and then go ahead and paste. Okay, and then as you can see, I already have this pasted, so I'm not going to paste it again. Right, so I have this up here, so I click OK, OK, and OK. Right, so now from here, what we want to do is we want to restart your computer so that the changes can apply. Okay, and I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. So what we're going to do now is, now that you have restarted your computer, we're going to go to the command prompt, and then from here we're going to type mongo space -- version. So this will basically just make sure that we have Mongo installed correctly, and if you do, you should see all this stuff here, right? But most importantly, this will tell you, hey, you have MongoDB installed with version 5. Okay, and that's exactly what we want. So let's see. From here, we want to now go into the projects folder. So just give me a second. Backend, and so we're going to go into the backend, right, folder, not the client folder anymore. Now we're going to go into the backend folder. Okay, and then we're going to right click and click on git bash here, and then I'm going to type npm install to install all of our packages. And so Node is going to fetch that for us. Just give it a sec. All right, and so now with that, I want to now type code dot to open VS Code. Wonderful. So now I'm going to press Control Grave, right? That button to the left of the one key. And now I'm going to type npm start. Okay. So now our server is running, and all we have to do now is hover over this link here, and then you click on follow link. And so now this isn't necessarily like our website. This is kind of like more like our backend, right? So this is kind of like where we can work with our data. All right. And so now let me go back to VS Code and mention something that's pretty important. So rather than working with just one directory when it comes to the front end side of things, with the backend, there's like multiple folders, and it may seem threatening, and I get that. But when you're solving issues, you're really just working with one of these directories. So you could be working with like controllers, for example, or you could be working with like the framework, etc. Right? And then if you want to stop your project, or if you want to stop your project from running, you just click, or not click, sorry, you press Control C, and it'll ask you if you want to terminate that batch job. You just press Y, which is just short for yes. You press Enter. And just like that, you stop your project. And of course, if you want to start it again, you just press npm start. Okay. So at this point, you should either have the front end or the back end installed on your computer. So now from here, we scroll down. We have issues assigned on the GitHub project, and so the README goes through how to assign yourself to a project, to raise an issue, creating a branch, right? Because once you have finished solving an issue, you now have to create a new branch with that solution on it. Okay, and also pushing commits and raising pull request. Okay, and so when it comes to the issues, they're gonna be over here in the issues tab, and then yeah, so these are all the lists of issues, right? So of course, if it says front end, it's a front end issue, and if it says back end, right, for the title, then it's a back end issue. And of course here we have a Docker issue if you're into that. Okay, and so I can go into an issue. I'll use this one because it's not sent to anyone. And so right here, this is a little section called assignees. So basically, if I wanted to assign myself, of course, I would just click assign myself. And just like that, I'm now assigned to this issue. Okay. And so that's pretty much all I have here. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to put those in the general chat of the Discord server. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.